Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more City Skylines, returning to Spin City, where every intersection is a roundabout. Now, in the last video, I saw an issue that we're having with our city, and that is things burning down because we don't have sufficient fire services to take care of that. I am also noticing that we don't have water over here. Oh, okay. Just need to expend the water line a little bit. There we go. That should take care of that. Alright, so as far as the fire services go, I could just get another small firehouse to cover some of these areas down here that we're currently having, issues covering. But I would actually like to upgrade to the bigger fire station. The only problem is I can't afford it right now. Now, if I come over to the loans, I can't take any more loans because I already have taken them. But they're actually pretty close to being paid off. As a matter of fact, I only have about 11,000, a little over 11,000 left to pay. So if I pay these back now, in theory, I could retake the loan and then actually increase the amount of cash I have on hand. Whether or not we get to 60,000, I don't know. I actually don't remember what the value of these loans are, but I believe it was 20 and 60. We'll see. Let's go ahead and pay this one now. And it does indeed look like it is worth 60,000. So I'll go ahead and take the 60,000 loan. I guess I don't really have to pay this one off now if I don't want to, but I'll go ahead and take this. It will bring me up to 80,000, which will allow me to buy the bigger fire station. And that's one of our biggest issues right now, is just having enough money to get all the services we need to keep the city running. And as much as I'm tempted to just have the city run for a period of time so that I get money and I'm not having to worry about services, obviously that would make a very boring series, so that might be something I have to think about. But if I were to put the fire station anywhere, I think a central location would probably make the most sense. What do we have here? We have just normal housing. Okay. I also need better police forces or police services over in this area, as well as education, as well as health. Pretty much this lower corner here is definitely needing a lot of service improvement. And that's where the money comes in. But of course, if I keep building up the city and building it up and building it up, I keep getting more and more demands of other services, which I don't have cash to fulfill. So this is kind of that period where I'm not exactly sure if I should just hold off and let the city build up as it is, not really expanding it anymore, and just get some cash. Alright, so it looks like that is about the only place that I can legally place this. It'll knock out a couple houses, but it will give me fire services in pretty much all of the city that we have right now. And I think that's a good call, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And that should dramatically improve fire services across the city. Of course, I also need a hospital, which costs 65,000. I need, let's see, I need police. I'd like to get the bigger police headquarters, which also costs 60,000. As far as education goes, I probably need another high school, maybe, but I definitely need more elementary schools. Although I think I recently did that, and we have coverage in everywhere that there is residential, except for maybe over here. So I could fix that as well, like maybe put a school over here somewhere. But also high school. How are we doing on high school? High school pretty much is covering things. As a matter of fact, I have 2 high schools at this point. So really, it's university at this point is something that I need desperately, and I'd like to put that probably in a centralized location as well. We'll figure that out though as time goes on, but that's going to cost probably a good chunk of money, 75,000. And then also, as part of police services, I need a prison, which is going to cost 120,000. So there's a lot of money demands, and I'm not really meeting that amount. So it's one of those things I could just kind of wait and let the money accumulate. Now, as far as that education goes, elementary schools. Is that something I should put in? Because I could afford it. And the way education works is it's not like the other services where, you know, you can have fire stations, you can have small stations, and then you can have a big station, and they provide all the same service. Education, these are 3 different tiers of education. You have pretty much your, well, elementary school, you have your high school, and you have your college. Those are 3 different levels of education that all need to have more or less overlapping coverage. So a high school is really not going to cut it in some of these areas. And I also noticed that I don't have any education going on in this little area here. So if I were to put a school in, I'd want to cover the areas that right now are deficient. Right now that's shopping. I mean, that wouldn't be too bad putting an elementary school in here, as long as it covers this area here, which it's really not doing. This is the trick of roundabouts. Roundabouts actually cause services to not reach nearly as well. I mean, you can see here, I'm practically putting an elementary school on top of this area, but because of the way the roundabouts work, I'm barely increasing the coverage. Now, if I come over here, I increase the coverage much more, but then I'm not really reaching some of the other areas I'm trying to reach as well, although it doesn't look like I can really improve that all that much other than building it like right here-ish. I mean, that obviously improves it, but then it doesn't improve this area as much. Of course, the problem I have is, can I really improve this area all that much? It looks like it will allow me to build here, and that probably covers things the best I can cover things. So what we want to do here is place it in a way that it only knocks out a few buildings. So I'm going to try and come in here and see a little bit closer. That looks like as good as it's going to get right there. Alright, so that should cover a lot of area once that kicks in. Alright, so education services, not too bad outside of the fact we do not have a college. And then probably the next priority would be police department, because again, there's a big chunk down here where I have pretty much no police forces really doing anything. Now again, I could put a small station down here, and that would kind of cover things, but ideally I'd want to have one of these bigger stations. Of course, I can't really see its coverage until I get enough money to afford it. Alright. So, unfortunately, right here, I'm seeing some traffic issues. My fire services are not getting where they need to go. So this guy right here is being overwhelmed. And that building just burnt down. So, it's not the fire services the problem I see at the moment, it's the traffic. So right here is heavily trafficked. Alright, well first let's go ahead and bulldoze this building, because they got burned down. Alright, so zoning-wise, what can we do here? There's a couple different things we can do, but quite obviously, this is a major intersection. Now, giving me alternative paths really isn't going to cut the mustard, because obviously, I already have that. So, the problem is, with the traffic, what can we do here? First off, I can dezone it. Maybe I'm just having too much traffic here, there's too many stores, there's too much industry, what have you. It's just too much in this one area, and this is too central of an area for my city, and it's causing a lot of backup traffic. So, what I could do is dezone all of this industry and remove this street. That removes one avenue that people are coming in and out of, and it also removes where the traffic is coming from. Of course, there are two problems with that. Problem number one is I have a power plant here. Problem number two is I have garbage here. I also can't do anything with this street, although that doesn't really matter for this particular street. I could eliminate this street, though, because this street here eliminates the need for this street. So if I were to think about it, I think that's the route I'm going to take. I'm going to eliminate some of the traffic congestion here. Now, some of that traffic congestion is coming from in here, all of these residences. But I'm not going to remove that. So I think, yeah, this is going to probably get rid of the least amount of things. We're just going to go ahead and dezone all this industry. This is actually going to open up some industry, though, on this street and this street, so it's not the end of the world. And then we're going to bulldoze this street. And I'm hoping, well, actually reducing the number of intersections or streets that go into this roundabout, maybe will improve the overall traffic situation. Now that I've done that, let's go ahead and take a look at the zoning. So, in theory, I can rezone all of this as industry, as well as some of these areas here. I think that's better. So what I'm going to actually do here, I'm going to just... Oh, crap. Let me redo this. Not quite what I wanted. I'm going to rezone that. There we go. And then over here, I'm going to dezone that. And then we'll rezone it now that we have the better area. There we go. Okay, so let's keep an eye on this traffic. It's going to probably take a little bit of time to alleviate itself. But that building burned down, not because we didn't have the services. It burned down because we didn't have... we had too much traffic. Alright, so right now, what I see the problem is traffic coming from this street is an issue. Now, another thing I can do to help is I can destroy this connection here, but I prefer not to have to do that. Alright, we'll keep an eye on that, but it does look like it's clearing itself up, but it's kind of hard to tell at this point. We're just going to have to keep an eye on it and allow some time to pass. And while we wait for these things to resolve themselves... Oop, not exactly sure why that went out, but... Could be that we didn't have educated workers. That's been a problem. Alright. So I have demand for shopping and I have demand for residences. I'm not really sure I'm going to do anything about either at the moment. I'm just going to sit kind of and let the city run and just see what kind of problems we have. Can they be alleviated? And of course, we might as well speed time up. And this gives me an opportunity to, of course, get that money that we're looking for. Alright, so let's take a look at the traffic situation now. Okay, so this was the intersection here. And it looks like it's doing much better. Now, this intersection here is a little bit tricky. And it's going to be that way. This was one that was a problem before because it's got the highway coming in. So people are going to be coming off the highway, coming in here. We have a lot of congestion. But as long as we don't have backed up traffic, we're good. See, now the fire services are able to get in here without too much problem. And address these fires. So let's turn off the traffic and watch the fire services come. There's another fire there. And we're having fires all the time. There is a policy I can do that will help that, although it will cost me money. That may actually reduce my income down to nothing, because that's 5 cents per building, which is the exact same expense as 5 cents per building of the power usage. And we've seen how that affects income. But we can go ahead and try it out and see how that affects income. But obviously, we're having fires all too frequently. Part of me wants to increase the population, though, as far as housing goes, because we are having things come up that say, oh, we don't have enough workers, and that that bothers me a little bit. I don't like seeing that, because it means that these businesses won't stay around long. They'll close down. But I'm going to keep an eye on the money. See, now we're losing money. We went from getting 3,000 a week, 3,500 a week, to losing money. I can't sustain that, obviously. So I'm going to have to turn that off. It makes me upset that I have to turn that off because obviously we're going to have more fires. But I can't really run a policy like that and have the city continue to run. But I now just thought of it. I should probably be able to tax things differently now, right? I wasn't able to do that earlier, but I'm sure by now I've gotten the ability to do that. Taxes, here we go. So right now, we're at 9% for everything. Now usually, from what I remember, you can tax industry and businesses a little bit more than you can residences. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the tax rate to 11% for everything. And we'll see how that does. If people start getting upset with the tax rate, they'll let me know. And we can adjust it from there. And I'm going to go ahead and increase the industry tax rate up to 13%. Now, if they would be mad with me at 11%, obviously, you know, I'm not going to really... You know, I would get the same message of them being upset, but alright. Let's go ahead. I could also increase the budget of the fire services. That would also deal with things. But, you know, it's not something I've done is raising taxes in a while. Let's see how that helps. Citizens are sick. That's bad. Could be because of pollution. What's going on here? Maybe my zoning isn't right? Because there's a couple businesses in here that are producing pollution, it looks like. Is that a... Hold on a second while I fix some things. Okay. I'm gonna assume... Yeah, that's a problem right there. Okay, so let's grab our paintbrush. And it just do whoop, like that. So what happened here is that some businesses came in that were not farms, and they're causing pollution. So let's take a look at this pollution. It's these three buildings. We're gonna just hammer those down. Oop, 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 oop. Get out of there. I'll just go ahead and bulldoze that too while we're at it. Alright. So that's unfortunate that that happened, but we figured it out. We fixed it. Should be better now. And let's just make sure zoning should be good. Okay. Hopefully they get better. That's the kind of thing you just have to keep an eye on. And what I might do, I don't know if bulldozing this is going to make a difference. But this should now be non-polluting industry. Might take a little while. Ooh, look at that. We got another one over here. Let's go ahead and bulldoze that. Bulldoze that. And let's make sure our zoning is correct again. So we're just like barely not getting the zoning where it needs to be. Just to be safe, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. There we go. That's better. So again, I'm going to keep an eye on that, but the sickness shouldn't spread. We shouldn't have any problems there. Okay. So are we still having demands for workers? Slight demands for workers. Yeah, both of these guys are sick. Might take a while for the pollution to go away. It does look like it's receding, but... Alright, fire services are doing a lot better job. All right, money is just flooding in. Let's take a look at one of these businesses. Nobody's saying they're upset with the tax rate, as far as I can tell, because I should get a warning that they're like, oh, we're getting taxed too hard. So that probably right there is the answer to a lot of our problems. So I'm going to go ahead and use the smoke detector distribution and then see how money is affected by that. And the whole time I'm experimenting with this stuff, I'm getting money, so I can afford some of the services. As a matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and put in one of the services I've been looking forward to, which is police services. So our fire department is right here, I believe. Let me confirm that. Yeah, fire station. So I don't see a reason why not to put the police station there too. And of course... Oh, police station. There we go. So we don't have any coverage down there, but if we were to put it... let's say here. That would take care of pretty much everywhere. So let's go ahead and plop that sucker down. And that takes care of our legal problems. The next issue is health. So I would like to have enough money to afford the hospital. Now, speaking of money, how are we doing on loans? We could take a loan, but I don't see the point at the moment. If we get closer to the 65,000, maybe. Okay. People are happy about that. We're going to have some things upgraded because of the better services. Right now, we're keeping population kind of at the same point. Maybe a little bit of increase because of the upgrades. But we're kind of keeping it at a flat rate so that we can monitor the situation, make sure our traffic situation's good. We're not having too much backed up traffic. A little bit of issues here, but we were already aware of that. This is looking a little slow over here. And I'm really starting to think not having a roundabout here might be putting strain unduly on these intersections. Alright, so it looks like we're about to the income level we were at before we started messing with taxes. So I figure no reason not to continue to mess with taxes. So it seems like industry's fine with 13%. Most everybody else is fine with 13%. So I'm going to put everybody at 13%. Now, as I said, usually industry is more willing to take these kind of taxes than some of, for instance, residential. I think residential is usually the area you can't tax quite as heavily as others. But we're going to go ahead and bring up taxes to 13% for everybody. And while I'm at it, I might as well bring up taxes to, let's say, 14% for industry. And I'm just going to go a percent at a time after that for industry. We'll just kind of monitor the situation, see what people think of that, and kind of find our line where we can get the most taxes out of the people, but also not make them pissed at us, obviously. Ooh, we lose this building again because of lack of education. And very soon I'll be able to afford that hospital. There we go, hospital. Okay. So taking it off here. These are all residences, right? Yeah, so we can go ahead and fit in a hospital if we wanted to. So here's our hospital. And it will not let me place it anywhere on this street. What about this street? Okay, it seems like it's more than happy to do that. And what's the zoning here? Just, again, normal residences. Now, honestly, I had kind of built up this intersection to be kind of the center of our town. So should I be putting more services in that direction or not? All right, so let's say I put a hospital over here. It's not really reaching that other area with health services. But if I put the hospital over here, well, then it's obviously reaching over here. I'm just trying to find a nice point where I can put this hospital, but it doesn't knock out as many houses. This looks like probably the best place I can put it, and it will cover a lot of area. It doesn't really cover the farm area. That's kind of why I was trying to make it a little bit more centralized, but I think I already took care of all the centralized land that I can place things. So I'll put it here. Okay. And that will make people very happy. And of course we need to bulldoze things. And then the next priority is a college. So this is going to probably cause more upgrades, which will keep the population kind of flat because we're not... Oh, there's the taxes. Okay, so industry's not happy with having taxes as high as it is, because these are all industry here that are freaking out at me. So if I come back into the taxes, and just to confirm, so I click on one of these guys, and it says taxes too high. They're not happy about it. So obviously 14% is too high, so we'll bring that back down to 13% because they were fine with that. It seems like residences are also fine with 13% because they should be getting upset with me at this point. Let's just confirm. Let's go ahead and take low density and bring that up to 14%. Let's see if 14% is kind of that sticking point. These guys there, they're happy again because taxes aren't too bad. Let's see what shopping thinks about 14% though. Outside of the fact that they don't have enough educated workers. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Okay. So taxes here. This is a residence. So residences are not happy with 13%. Trash services might be an issue. I'm going to have to take a look at that. But, all right. So taxes are a little bit too high for the residences. So we'll bring that down to 12%. We'll see if we alleviate that problem. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. And again, it's just something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. It might take a little while before we start getting the warning signs that they're not happy with the situation. Oh yeah, trash situation. All right, we have a little bit of problem with noise here. There's not a whole lot I can do about that other than just de-zone it for residences and put something else in there. Let's actually take a look at the noise level. Yeah, so they're having problems with noise in that corner. And as I said, I could just de-zone it. And I could put maybe shopping in there. We do have shopping demand. I'll just wait on it, though, for now. Out of curiosity, does farm industry produce noise? Oh, hell yeah, it does. Okay, so shops are having problems with the taxation, so they don't like that. So I kind of think we've found our equilibrium of where taxes need to be. 13% for businesses, 12% for residences. Seems to be about right. Alright, so we've kind of found that point. And now that I have that figured out, I think, you know, probably we can start building here and expanding the city. Of course, I do want to get that college in. Prison, I'm not going to worry about as much. Ooh, death services is a problem, huh? How are we doing here? Oh, no, okay. We do have 2 cemeteries. It might not be... Let's find the other one. Okay, it's over there. Could be coverage isn't great. But as far as storage goes, we're pretty good. I'm kind of waiting for the crematorium here, though, but that won't come out until 16,000 people. Now, these guys are pretty darn close to where the cemetery is, so I'm assuming it just... Maybe traffic? Oh, yeah, look at that. That's no good. That's really bad, actually. Alright. Let me think here. What do we need to do? Now, I was aware that this was a little bit of an issue. This intersection. What is the problem? The problem is stuff coming this way. Well, actually, stuff coming from any direction, but it looks like mostly stuff coming from this direction. I don't know if there's an easy way for me to fix that. I don't think giving more lanes of traffic is going to make a difference. Although I could. Alright, well that sounds like a simple fix. I'm going to try it, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from a 4-lane street and upgrade it to a 6-lane road. And let's see if this helps. I don't think it will, but it won't hurt. And if it helps, we might think about doing that in other places. Another thing I could do, as far as budget goes, is I could increase the budget of my cemeteries. Only problem is that's health services overall. Yeah, I know. More ambulance and more hearses. I guess it doesn't hurt to up it a little bit. On the other hand, I could just put another cemetery in. I guess that's not the end of the world. Alright. Where do I put the other cemetery? You know what? I think I'm going to put it in over here. Kind of gets it close to the central area. And we actually don't have very good death coverage over here. And that will actually alleviate the problem. So, let's bring it slightly like that to the middle so we've got more green coverage. And that's probably good there. Alright. And hopefully, there we go. We're starting to get the dead bodies now. What's going on here? Dead person is waiting for transport. Okay, I'm aware. Thank you. Alright, well, in any case, I think this is a good point to put a cut in the video. So, new problem. We had fire being an issue, and now we're having dead bodies being an issue. Now, it could be traffic, although it looks like maybe the 6-lane road fixed it, and that might be something that we think about with other high-traffic areas, is just putting a 6-lane road in. Because I think the problem is we're having cars park on the side of the street, which blocks this lane, so it was really only a 2-lane street. And now we've upgraded it to a 4-lane street with this lane, the inner lane, or the outer lane technically, being used for parking. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.